What's up, guys, and welcome to More Than a Conversation, episode number 9. Once again, we are joined by our lovely co host, Forever the Airverse.
Hey.
Hey, and I thank you as always, man, for tuning into the pod and helping out as usual.
Well, of course, of course.
All right, and if you notice, there's something special about this podcast. Me and Forever did some analytics diving, and we decided that why don't we try a half off special? And for those of you who tune in and have no idea what we're talking about, basically with the half off special, instead of our typical hour and 5 minute long podcast, this podcast is only going to be 30 to 32 minutes tonight to see what you guys think about that. And if you guys love the half off special, we would totally do more of it. However, if it performs exactly the same way as our other ones, we'll go back to doing our normal format. But what do you think of the chance of doing 30-minute pods forever?
I like it. I mean, most of the time we only our podcasts are specific to reviews, and that last 20 minutes usually gets a little whatever we talk about. We talk about.
Yeah. Um, which I enjoy some banter based podcasts, but it has to be people
Hmm.
that can play off each other really well and keep it entertaining and funny instead of just dry communication.
You're saying I'm not funny?
Well, I'm not saying that, but I am saying that for some reason, me and you IRL, we can play off each other really well. We can talk and
That
communicate
is
well.
true.
But
That is true.
once we like can't see each other and we're having to communicate through a
That's true.
microphone and a Discord call, it tends to be a
Yeah,
lot more dry. There's more space between conversation because that audio lag. I say something and you don't hear it for 2 seconds, so there's this awkward pause in between.
yeah. When we upgrade for a video podcast, we should be fine.
Oh yeah. What you don't know is I'm saving up for a
Hopefully,
really
I
big
don't.
house that's going to have an entire room dedicated to being a podcast room. Just wait for it.
That's the dream.
That's the dream. One day, one day. But anyway, basically, if you follow Forever on Instagram, you will notice that he put our topic out there, and we've talked about the topic in our own media platforms. But we're going to be reviewing the Ahsoka TV series. Now, for me, I am a major Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars, been in love with the characters, the story, and what has been built over the years. And I know that there is, some conflicts in the franchises between prequel fans, sequel fans, um, and people thinking, the new stuff isn't as good as what the old stuff was. However, I have seen. Uh, I'm a big prequel fan. I like the prequels the most. However, I have seen
Over the OG
some
trilogy?
over the OG trilogy too. Over the OG
Wow.
trilogy. But I'm a big prequels
Interesting.
fan. But I see that there is some fruit and some gems we are getting from these sequels in the Disney era Star Wars franchise. So basically,
Disclaimer on my end. I've only seen the OG trilogies and half the prequels. Um, Outside of that, I'm completely blind. So
yeah, so this is going to be a very interesting pod, and
who knows?
maybe it'll be a pod where you'll have a lot more conversation and banter from me on the
Hmm.
topics.
Probably.
And this is what I hope for because I've seen, if it's got Star Wars in the title, I've watched it basically. I've watched everything. I've watched all the live action, all the animated, the old cartoons um, from back in like 2002 to 5 or something like that. Um, all the Lego stuff, seen everything. If it's got Star Wars on it, I've seen it. Actually, I take that back. I only haven't seen one, and that's Star Wars Resistance. But I didn't
What's
hear
that
that.
about?
Basically, it's another animated series that's set right before the event, right before the events of Force Awakens. But all it is it's basically just a bunch of kids learning to become fighter pilots. From what I got from looking at it. Um,
Interesting.
yeah. But anyway, I'll let you talk first for a second, forever. So, what was your thoughts on episode 1 and 2 when you watched them?
I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I was. I think me actually not knowing anything was beneficial,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like I could see it and not pick it apart from the animated show because I have no idea what's accurate, what's not, what's different. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I liked it. There was a couple things that I did have problems with, but it wasn't a lot.
Yeah. And so, me over here, who's seen everything, I did exactly what Forever mentioned, and I sat there and watching it, I picked this show apart. I overanalyzed every detail, even pausing the film at certain points just to clarify details I see. Um, because I wanted to see how true they held it to the animated series, or if they would try and walk away from it some, and let this be kind of different and like forge new story paths for like change concepts, like maybe change just one little detail where it was like this in the animated series, but now they've changed that to be able to do something different in the live action. Like how one detail I've noticed they changed with the character Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, or not Clone Wars, in Star Wars Rebels. By the end of it, you see Ahsoka is wearing a white robe everywhere and carrying a white staff everywhere. However, in all the appearances we've seen Ahsoka in live action, it has been a gray robe and no spear in her hand. So that was a detail that I noticed that some people might not pay attention to, but it was something I noticed when watching it.
Is that like a major thing though?
It's not.
Is there something specific to the white robe that you liked or the spear?
No, I forget what the
It has nothing to do with her
robe.
origin or nothing to do with her.
Nope. It
Her
doesn't really
her
have
culture?
anything special character plot point at all. It's just something I noticed.
It
And I
was just
also
a
noticed,
character design.
yeah, and like
Okay.
Sabine, we've always seen Sabine with short hair. Now we see Sabine with her long hair in the show. And
I
Hera,
already told you. I already told you. I already told you. We already had that whole conversation. I don't know why she had to cut her hair, bro.
bro, it was only
Mm.
because I think so that she
I
can
was
still show that she can wear the helmet. Because if you notice, people who
sure,
like all the women that wear the helmets, they tend to keep their hair
sure.
shorter. And then also, I think it's still to try and pay homage to the show because she had short hair the entire 4 or 5 seasons of
And that's
Rebels.
fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. But I was really digging like that sunburn type color hair. I was
bruh,
digging it, bro.
bruh. But yeah, and
There was
so,
like certain shots, like if the sun was like
oh yeah,
beaming down, bro, it looked so good. And
yeah.
she had to go and cut it, bro.
No, and so this is
So sad.
we'll kind of talk this for a second, and then I'll talk more details I noticed. But like another like clothing change that I noticed. Well, first things first, Sabine wasn't wearing her Mandalorian armor in the introduction to the show. Every season of Rebels, she only wore her armor except for when she was disguised as a stormtrooper.
Okay,
Um,
but that makes sense because she was having some kind of existential crisis.
right, and
So
then
it made sense.
yeah, and then Hera, she's went from having more of like a mechanic style pilot looking outfit to now she's actually got like like her 80s military leather jacket with the floof on the collar.
The
So
green chick, right?
what?
The general, the green chick?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know
Um
what that looked like to me?
what?
If Amelia Earhart was a Star Wars character.
Exactly. That's what that
That's the
jacket.
vibe that I got.
Yeah. And basically, if you learn about Hera's character, is ever since she was a child. We learned this in Bad Batch, and we learned this in Rebels. But ever since that Hera was a child, she always wanted to fly and be a fighter pilot. And now she and then
Makes sense.
Rebels, we saw her fly more, do more, and then she eventually became commander and then general of a lot of the fleet of the Republican rebels. Uh,
Mm.
And so it's cool getting to see her walk up. I'm waiting to see Jason. This was a character that you didn't get to see yet because I tried to send Forever a couple videos, just little clips from Rebels to fill them in on the characters and some story. But
Yeah, I got the Ezra
character
background.
and yeah,
That was the only one that I had time
yeah,
to watch.
yeah. I had him watch the end of Star Wars Rebels, where Ahsoka sacrificed himself to save the day, just so he could
Ahsoka.
learn about who Ezra is, learn more about
You
Thrawn.
mean Ezra sacrificing himself?
Yeah, Ezra sacrificing himself.
You said Ahsoka.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
like,
No,
I don't know what show we're watching, but I'm pretty
nah,
sure it's
nah, nah.
Ahsoka.
Because Forever has no idea who Ezra was. That was the biggest question he
No, no,
asked
no,
me when the
yeah.
show finishes.
I was
Who is
like,
this Ezra kid?
I was like,
Um,
who is Ezra?
it was only the main character over 4 seasons of a TV show. Um,
Rebels was only 4 seasons.
yeah, I think it was about 4 or 5 seasons. Clone Wars was 7 seasons, but that's beside the point.
Is Clone Wars tied to this?
Um, the tie is Ahsoka, but this takes place years after Clone Wars.
Okay.
Like, let's just
I'm
say,
gonna eventually get to all of that. But
yeah. But yeah. So when Ezra sacrificed himself to defeat Thrawn and save the day, and yeah, so he got to see that. I got to talk to him about who Ezra was, some of his importance, things like that. But we haven't seen Jason Syndulla yet, which I hear he's rumored to be in the show at some point. That is Kanan and Hera's son. Uh,
is he a Jedi?
I don't know if he's going to have the Force like his father,
Uh-huh.
but we'll see if he becomes an important character throughout the show. But so far, we've still yet to see him. And so yeah, I think episode 1 and 2 were really good, very powerful. It gave us some
I think
more.
it was a great start.
Yeah, really good start.
Like I'm saying, like I could pick up on the story and the characters and their significance, even though I have never seen Rebels what they're tied to.
Right.
So I thought I did a pretty good job with like not making the show only to where fans could enjoy and understand, but also people who are just now getting into that.
Exactly. And basically, I really liked them. I thought it was cool. A lot of the homages they paid to the show, those things they kept similar over the course of episode 1 and 2. But I'll talk about more of those when it starts nearing the end of the pod. But it was cool getting to see Morgan Elsbeth again. Last time we saw her, she got captured by Ahsoka in Mandalorian season 2, I believe is what it was.
Oh, so Ahsoka was in Mandalorian?
Yeah, she was in season 2.
The same actress?
Believe so. Yeah, I think it was the same actress.
Interesting.
She was in Mando season 2. She captured Morgan Elsbeth.
I did see the Mandalorian episode 1. But that was it.
Dang. Such a good show.
I love the episode. I just time gets away from me, bro.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, love the story they're going with so far. And it's cool getting to see Sabine still hung over the loss of Ezra, because for my Rebels enjoyers, basically, over the course of Star Wars Rebels, we saw Ezra liked Sabine, but she always treated him like he was this little brother character that wouldn't like give in to him or show him like much affection or anything at all, except for a couple scenes, I believe. And it actually didn't start becoming more prevalent until the final season. Then once the season finale hit, he did his noble sacrifice, and now here it is. We see Sabine still watching his last recording, the first recording they played. No, they haven't played the first recording yet. He did 2 recordings. One was made just for Sabine, and one was made for the entire Ghost crew. Which was cool getting to see, him in the little.
And we saw the one that was only for Sabine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was cool getting to see Sabine is now the one who misses Ezra, who wants to see Ezra. Um, in the hologram, he called her like a sister to him, which I just thought was funny when I heard it.
I heard that too, and I was like, "Oh, bro, yeah, you gotta go there, bro." And then you filled me in, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I
and
understand. I understand now."
yeah, and so it was cool getting to see those.
Yeah.
Other parallels. I liked getting to see Governor Ryder again. He was a big character in some of the later Star
Bro,
Wars Rebels
that
stuff.
that actor, I know that actor from somewhere.
Right, but he nailed
I
his
looked at it and I was like,
part perfectly, and he did a really good job as Ryder. I can't remember if that was the original actor for Ryder or not. I'll have to do research on that. But yeah, and so Ryder, the actor for Ryder, was really good. I can't remember, but the guy he ended up putting on the podium while he went to go try and figure out where Ahsoka was, I actually think that was a character from Rebels. But I'll
"You
have
mean
to.
Sabine or whatever her name is?" You're
What?
getting names mixed up, bro.
I know.
You're trying to find some.
I keep.
You keep saying Ahsoka for everything.
I know because it's the show's about Ahsoka, but for some reason I keep making her more of the center point than she needs to be because we actually talk a lot about other characters in these first few episodes, which is cool. So yes, when he goes to look for Sabine, not Ahsoka, when he goes to look for Sabine, um, uh,
Dude,
he puts that young guy on the podium, and I think that's from
the chick that broke into the ship in the opening scene with that old guy who was looking for
yeah. I wonder if you're gonna say
Morgan.
what I've been thinking. Okay, what about
She
it?
she is like weirdly creepy.
She's weirdly
Like just
creepy, and
like
she
her
to me she
her
gives
body language is like so dark.
yeah, she gives me vibes if Billie Eilish was a Sith Lord. That's what I get looking at her. I mean, not a Sith Lord. Right now, she's still a Padawan. But if Billie Eilish was a Sith, I think they would act the same way. And there's a couple shots where I actually
That's
thought
kind of funny.
yeah, there's a couple shots where I actually thought she looked like Billie Eilish, but that's beside the point.
You thought I was gonna say she was hot, didn't you?
I thought you were gonna say that, and I was just gonna.
Not a chance.
You had a chance,
Not a
but you didn't
chance.
take it. It's also cool.
I'm more attracted to Ahsoka right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. The orange skin kind of works for me.
Yeah. But it was cool getting to see Ray. But like I think his name's Ray Stevenson. I can't remember his last name, but
the guy that died.
Yeah, the guy that passed away.
He was in the show.
Yeah, he's the Sith. He's the evil Jedi.
Oh.
Yeah.
The old guy.
Yeah, the old guy. He plays the old
That's
guy
Ray
and died
Stevenson.
after the show. So he's literally gonna play like main antagonist, and then he passed away after the end of the show. And I thought it was cool. They if you watch episode 1, they pay a little respect to him.
Right.
And so I thought
I didn't know who that was. I just assumed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I knew that. I remember seeing it online that when it first happened, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a part of the show. I just thought he was like a former character in the Star Wars universe.
He's a completely new character. Him and his Padawan are both new characters.
Okay.
And so we've got about.
Do you think that's weird, or do you actually like that?
I kind of like it. I like it.
Okay.
And
I don't know, because I feel like it's kind of weird. This is me like looking at it from like an outside perspective. But in the show, he said that there wasn't many Jedi left, or people who could actually wield the Force.
Yeah, because that's just been.
But he can, and he's like this completely new character.
Yeah.
You would think that people who can wield the Force is only like previous characters that have already been shown.
Well, the thing is they gave
people who have been taught by them.
Yeah, no, he said that they figured out that he was a Jedi from the time of the Clone Wars, But then once the Jedi Temple fell, he escaped and then converted to being a mercenary. So it's more of these Jedi characters we're learning about that's escaping. Like how Baby Yoda escaped and he's going to be a Jedi.
So he was a good guy.
He was a good guy at one point.
So do you think that leads us to a first theory? Do you think he's going to turn back to being good?
I think there is,
because he does feel like he's sentimental to like people who can wield the Force.
Yeah, because there's so few left, and he hates to see all of them die. I can see it in him and his Padawan's eyes that there's a little bit of concern of what Morgan's saying. But
yeah, I kind of got that vibe too.
Yeah, and so
Morgan's just a psycho.
Yeah, and it was cool getting to see another Night Sister when we've only Night Sister content we've had recently is Marin from Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, which I was happy because all of my theories for that game came true, and I was super excited.
They always got to be a witch.
And they always got to be a witch, but other than that, I'll get into. We got 11 minutes left, so I'll get into some details.
Okay, I will say this.
Okay.
My biggest problem with the show.
Okay.
My biggest problem. Probably my only significant problem.
Right.
It really, really was a little like slow at times, and there would be like 3 minutes of like no dialogue whatsoever, and like Ahsoka's just like slowly like walking around even like her ship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to me, who started episode 1 at like 12:30 at night in the morning, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't finish episode 2 until 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
I was like, I was pulled away. I like pulled out of it at times because it was just like even Sabrine or whatever. That's her name, right? Sabine, she would be doing the same thing, and she'd just be walking in her house, like feeding her Star Wars looking cat. You know what I'm saying?
It's called a loaf cat.
Like that's like my number one issue with it is like it doesn't necessarily have to have dialogue, but it also felt too slow. Like their movement just felt too slow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so I can see that. I could see it. It did feel really slow at certain points. Like the intro sequence when Ahsoka was solving the puzzle.
Yeah.
It was just
like that was a great scene.
It was a great scene.
That was a great scene. And it's okay that it was dead silent because it was only her there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
but
so,
her just movements were just so stiff and so slow. Like it just that's that's one of my complaints.
All right. And so basically I'll run through some of these details real quick. It was cool getting to see the Phantom again. That was that little ship Hera flew at the end of episode 2. That was the ship that she was like chasing with the little droid that put the tracker on the ship. Yeah, Chopper is incredible, and he was one of the most lovable characters from Star Wars Rebels.
I love Chopper.
And basically,
she didn't have to do him like that though. She was like, "Don't miss the tracker this time." I was like, "Bro,
no." Everyone
I feel like
in Rebels, everyone picked on Chopper.
Oh, that's so sad.
So, but anyway, other than that, it was cool getting to see Chopper again in the Phantom, which, so that you know, the Phantom is a small ship that attaches to their bigger ship. That's called the Ghost, and we'll see that in later episodes because I've already seen it in the trailer that the Ghost does come back.
Why are they giving so much away in the trailers, bro?
I know. So other details I noticed. I liked the set design for Lothal. Lothal almost looks 100% accurate to what it did by the end of Rebels.
That's the city, right?
Yeah, that's the city.
Okay.
That's the city that Ezra grew up in, and it's cool getting to see the city, how much it's come up and it's good, and how much it looks like the highway scene, like that highway that we see Sabine on a lot.
That was so dope.
It was a perfect replica of the highway going out to Ezra's radio tower where he lived.
Dude, I laughed so, dude, I found it so funny. It's like she slid underneath the ship.
Yeah, and that
right?
guy's just like, yeah, you can
And the
leave.
guy was just like, all right, bro, you can go. I ain't even gonna try.
Yeah, and so it was cool getting to see that and more character development for Sabine, which we love. Also, inside the radio tower, you're not going to notice this, but Ahsoka, or not Ahsoka, Sabine has a big thing for art. So you noticed that inside Ezra's room, she's painted paintings all over the walls. And also,
Ezra. So she didn't redecorate Ezra's room,
she kind of did.
but
There's a
not
little bit.
really.
Yeah. And also, a big character point for Ezra over the course of Rebels is he likes collecting stormtrooper helmets and just collecting unique helmets. And in the back corners of the room, you see piles of helmets that's still there from when Ezra left them in the room. You see like stormtrooper helmets, stormtrooper scouts, all these different little helmets still scattered around the room where she's left his helmets inside the room.
Question.
Yep.
When she got yippity yappity with a lightsaber, did you think she was donezo?
No, I knew she was coming back because
That's because of the trailers.
trailer.
See, I didn't know who she was. I didn't watch a trailer because I don't watch trailers because they give too much information away.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So she got stabbed, and I was like, oh, I really like this character. And then the episode 2 starts, and she's just in a hospital bed, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
she's fine.
Yeah. Other cool stuff was it was cool getting to see Hugh Yang again. That was the robot with Ahsoka. Basically, for a plot point for him, Hugh Yang is from the Clone Wars, and basically what it is he has a catalog of every lightsaber built by every Jedi. And so when a youngling
I picked up on that.
Yeah, when a youngling got their Kyber crystal, they would go to him and he would help the younglings build their lightsabers. And that's what the point was when he was like, "Oh yeah, this lightsaber belongs to Balin Skrull, but that one over there, I don't have that one in my database because he helped her build her lightsaber instead of Hugh Yang." And so that was a cool detail. Having him back and cool getting to see him and more stuff with him because he had like his own little like 3-episode arc inside of the Clone Wars, a 3-episode arc with him and younglings, and so that was cool getting to see him in the show. Also,
do they just treat all robots very poorly?
Yeah, basically.
Because I got that vibe, bro. Like,
yeah.
They just be. He was like, "Sorry, I was just following Jedi orders," and she was like, "Yeah, don't do that."
And it's cool getting to see her play off that point that she's no longer a Jedi because she left the Jedi Order behind in the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm. But she can still use the Force.
Yeah, she still can use the Force.
It's just like the Jedi.
Yeah, and that's why she has white lightsabers because she doesn't affiliate with anything.
Oh. I dig the white lightsabers.
Yeah, and so
that might be why they didn't want to do the white robe.
Yeah.
That's just a point of emphasis there. I don't know.
Yeah, and
could be.
There was another thing. Oh, a really funny detail. Forever, please tell me you saw the movie Treasure Planet. Please tell me you watched Treasure Planet as a kid.
Probably, but I'd like.
Okay, basically, we've only got a few minutes left, so I'll say this: the ball that's the map that they're trying to use to find it, it is an exact replica of, or it's kind of like the ball from Treasure Planet. There was a map that helped people get from one galaxy to another to a planet full of treasure, and it was this ball where you had to twist the 3 corners of it, and once you did that, it opened up and showed them where to go.
Interesting.
And now in Ahsoka, it's like, here's this thing that's not Star Wars content, but we like the idea, so here's this ball that you twist these 3 corners on, and it opens this map to another galaxy. And other things, it's exciting that what was the other thing? Oh, that big thing, I can already tell what they're going to use it for. That big
Uh-huh.
machine that the Morgan's building
Uh-huh.
that looks like a big ring. I
Uh-huh.
legitimately think that is going to be so. Basically, you saw the clip where Ezra sacrificed himself, right?
Yes.
That ship is Thrawn's fleet ship. That's the ship that he uses to command his fleet.
Uh-huh.
And also inside of the prequels, you will see when triangle shaped ships want to use hyperspeed, or ships that don't have hyperdrives want to use hyperspeed, they hook up to these rings. They basically attach hyperdrives to them and launch them across space. So I think they're going to fly the
So
ring to Thrawn's ship, and then they're going to attach Thrawn's ship to it because it's damaged and can't fly. I think they're going to attach the ship to it and try and bring it back.
bring the whole ship back.
Bring the whole ship back with Thrawn and everything in it.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
If
so,
Thrawn's alive.
yeah, which, if you
Well,
watch
actually, he is because you told me he was in the trailer.
yeah, he's
That's
alive in
so
the
sad.
trailer.
But they didn't show Ezra at all in the trailer.
Yeah. So I'm hoping.
Good, because that should be a surprise.
That should be a surprise. I hope he's a surprise. I hope he's in it.
I'm calling
I've
it now, though.
I've heard,
He's
I've
done
heard
so.
I've heard rumors that Ezra's gonna show up, and instead of using a lightsaber or anything, he's gonna use like a more martial arts style. And I've also heard
I
rumors.
like that. That was my other not big complaint, but the lightsaber battles were kind of weak.
Yeah. But
They just felt
that's just
stiff. Do you know in jousting?
yeah. It felt like
That's how I feel. That's how I feel like
well,
lightsaber battles should be.
okay. And this, if do you want my honest belief behind that?
Yes.
They're not doing all the same stuff they used to in the prequels. Um, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen went through a lot of training and a lot of sequences to be able to get the fast lightsaber combat down. The
Oh, so
cartoons
you're saying
just
they just didn't feel like training the actors?
well, I think they definitely train the actors, but it's not as quick and swift as it was back. Like
Didn't the prequels have the best
no,
lightsaber fights?
all time best lightsaber fights. Um, but in these,
They did.
I've noticed everything since the prequels. Like I noticed this in the 3 sequel movies with Rey, and I've noticed this in the shows.
Yeah.
All lightsaber fights since the prequels have slowed down to where they're not as slow as the original trilogy, but they're not as
Yeah,
fast as
but
the prequels.
the original trilogy you can understand. It's like 70s and 80s. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
But I feel like with graphics and just general knowledge of filmmaking now, it should just be way better
yeah,
than it was.
yeah. And so,
And that's kind of unfortunate because lightsabers are the thing for Star Wars.
right. Um, I think okay, and so we've gone over what we said we would, but that's fine. Uh,
Oh, what time is it?
it's at 33 minutes, and so basically I'll open the floor for a theory we have for the direction of the season, and
Hmm.
then we'll give our rating of what we think the opening for the season was, and we'll do this again once the show's over, so that we have a rating
Okay.
of what we think it's going to be like, and see if
Are
our
we
rating changes by the end.
are we gonna do this weekly, a weekly
No,
Ahsoka review?
I don't think we do a weekly Ahsoka review. I think I can make like a YouTube short and kind of just like say what I thought about because I'll have more
Okay.
insight. I can do like a weekly short on how the episode went, but I won't. We won't do like a full podcast or big like video talking about
Okay.
it.
All right.
But anyway, episode 1 and 2 was really good, and my theory for the show is Morgan's going to succeed in what she wants. They're going to take that big ring. They're going to find Thrawn, but I don't think Ezra is going to be with Thrawn. I think he's going to be somewhere else. Um, and
I'm saying he's dead.
I think that because in the trailers we've also seen other footage, not confirming that Ezra is alive, but things that are going to let me think he is. Um,
Mm.
and so I think that they're going to find Ezra, but it's gonna be one of those things where he's gonna show up in like the episode right before the season finale and the season finale, because I don't see them finding Ezra in like episode 4 and then he's just here the
Right.
rest of the season. I think he's gonna
Yeah, it
be
feels like the climax for the season is actually Ezra and not Thrawn.
yeah, and I think
That's what I feel like.
and I think they're gonna find Thrawn. They're about to go and try and do their thing, and either A, the heroes are gonna save the day and stop Thrawn, or B, Thrawn is gonna win. An important character is going to die,
Ahsoka.
and if the important character dies, then that means Thrawn's going to be the main antagonist in the big movie that Dave Filoni's about to direct, because Dave Filoni's finally directing his own movie that I'm super pumped for. And when he directs it, he's going to have a lot of these characters from his shows that he's created. He's going to have Rebels characters in it, Mandalorian characters in it, and Ahsoka characters in it.
Interesting.
So yeah, so that's my thing on it. What's your theory for it?
I don't know. I think Thrawn's gonna end up coming back and being the big guy, and then Ray Stevenson's character's gonna turn good, but he's gonna end up dying, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not foreshadowing it,
Yeah.
but because he turned good,
Right.
probably by the hand of his. What'd you say she was?
Apprentice, Padawan, whatever you want.
Padawan.
Yeah.
Not saying Ahsoka's gonna die, but it's on the table.
Yeah.
All right.
And so with that, what do you?
Ezra doesn't coming back.
Okay.
If he does, that's cool. But he's definitely gonna get with the other chick,
Yeah.
and then they'll probably be the main focus of like the story continuing from this if Ahsoka dies.
Right.
So like that movie, they'll probably be the main characters.
Yeah. All right. Now.
That's as much as I can muster up because I don't really know much.
Yeah. Okay. So if you could rate the first 2 episodes out of 10 together as a lump sum for how the show's going so far, what would you give it?
Okay, so I'll do 8.5 out of 10. I think episode 1 was a 9 and episode 2 was an 8. So we'll go 8.5.
Yeah, episode 1 was definitely a lot stronger than episode 2. I'm trying to think of the right way that I would put this, because for now I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8 for now.
Yeah, but you did nitpick it.
Yeah. Because
I just got to enjoy it for what it was.
There's just still, like, there was things that I enjoyed. There was things that, they changed that are kind of interesting. But for the most part, incredible show so far. Love the first 2 episodes and can't wait to see what happens next week, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So, yeah. So, any closing remarks for Ever?
Grow your hair back.
Grow your hair back. Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. I see how.
Or wear a wig. I don't know.
Bruh, she's probably gonna wear a helmet most of the time if we're being honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Sabine actually wore her helmet most of the time in Rebels.
Yeah, but that's animated. That's different.
Yeah, so we'll probably see a lot more of her face now.
There's an actual human being on a 110-degree set.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But anyway, thank you for everyone who tunes into this live. Thank you for everyone who watches on YouTube. And we'll catch you next week for our next pod. And not just that, but go watch Ahsoka. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the Discord community. And we'll catch you guys all on the next one. So thank you for tuning in. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch, and we'll catch you all next week.